Wilson with RDI Technologies. I want to talk to you today about our non-contact optical technology and our motto of seeing is believing. So what is the problem that we're addressing? The problem is condition monitoring, but more importantly, it's the need for contact sensors to do that monitoring. It's inconvenient, it's costly, and in many times there's safety issues. If you look at our slide, you can see the way bridge monitoring is done today. You got people hanging off of ropes on cables, you got people hanging off the sides of bridges and bucket trucks and other things. What's needed is a non-contact sensor that can measure motion, vibration, and respiration in real time. It needs to be a technology that can be easily adapted into the market, and it needs to be a technology that has more than one application and one market that it addresses. So what's the solution? The solution is RDI's optical technology. If you look at the right-hand side, you see our founder and inventor of the technology, Dr. Haig. He's sitting on the bank with a tripod and a camera, looking at a bridge in the distance, collecting real-time data. Compare that to the slides that you just saw. So what do we do that's different? What we do is we collect that data via video data collection. What we also do is we turn every pixel in that camera into a sensor. And not only that, if it's in the field of view and you can see it, we can measure it with sub-pixel accuracy. What that does is it lends itself to multiple markets. You got aging infrastructure, you got machinery, and you also got healthcare. So let's talk about a couple of those markets today. We're going to focus on B&B, bridges and babies. So if you ever wondered what happens when you cross a bridge or what happens when a truck crosses a bridge, if you'll notice the video, you'll see the bridge has an impact, it moves and it bounces. That's our motion amplification and visualization techniques that we can actually show what's going on with that. In the bottom left, what you see is the actual plot that measures that impact and also the dampening out and things that occur. But on the right-hand side, what's very interesting is their ability to look at the components of the bridge and how they react to one another in real time while things are going on, such as an impact. What you see is you got two bars there that should be equally handling load. But you see one of them has much more vibration happening to it than the other bar. So a potential for a failure. So not only can we show you what's happening on the bridge, we can measure it, but we can also see how it's working in relation to the other components of the bridge. The key here is that in reality, contact sensors can't do that because they're single point sensors. So, in our mind, seeing is believing. You can see the problem, you know what's going on. Now what this lends itself to is our ability to work in different components of the inspection market. We can do the initial inspection, we can also do commissioning of new bridges or new components of the bridge, and we can do fault analysis. We find these faults, they do retrofits and repairs, and then we turn around and take a new image to see whether or not it worked. So let's talk about babies. If we get there. Okay, at the left you see my granddaughter Ava. We've got a camera pointed at her, we're collecting respiration. On the right you see how it's done today. You got belt clips, you got wearables, you got pads. They get an alarm, you run to the crib, you see that the baby's breathing, you look at the monitor, it shows you a picture of your baby breathing. No actionable information, nothing that's going to help you have peace of mind. If you look at what just happened to Ava, did you see that big breath that she took? She stopped breathing. Ava's diagnosed with central and obstructive sleep apnea. This happens multiple times during the night. We see an alarm, we get panicky. We go to this unit, you see an alarm, you push playback, and we replay the video that shows you what triggered the event or the alarming event itself. Peace of mind, actionable information, something you can take to your pediatrician to talk with them about. Seeing is believing. Also, it's a lifelong device because what happens is it doesn't get thrown away when the baby's out of diapers or the baby's out of the crib. It's a camera. You can use it on your baby, you can use it on adolescents, you can use it on adults. So what's the competition that we have today? The competition is the old ways of doing things, contact sensors. Our challenge is to educate the market on seeing is believing. The opportunity is that technology is driving change. Videos recognized, cameras are getting more powerful, chips have the ability to do more real-time processing. So, our business model's been validated. We partner, we license, or we build the products ourselves based on market research. We have deployed products already in the machine space, in the infrastructure space, and we have prototypes in the healthcare space. We have revenues, and if you look at the right-hand side, you can see we have some industry-leading companies that are customers and partners. And we also have momentum. The key is, in summary, we have some tremendous investors and advisors. Ken Piety and David Coffey are serial entrepreneurs, great technicians, tremendous business people. We have an experienced team of management. We have a patent portfolio position of 1 awarded patent, 4 patent applications in process. What we need is we need connections and introductions to niche markets, specifically as it relates to healthcare and also industrial. What we need is experienced resources to help us grow the business and scale the business. We need the community to support us to do validation and testing of new products, and we need the investment community to join us in our next round of funding, which will be mid-2016. We thank you. Go look at our website to find out more, and we're ready to take questions.
So, I primarily work in healthcare, and I see a ton of wearables. And to me, wearables, at least the hardware side of it, are pretty much commoditized at this point. I mean, it's in the earlier stages of wearables for healthcare, but you have huge companies in that space. So, pushing healthcare aside, the bridge market, you're selling to help me better understand this, you're selling this to municipalities?
Well, there are two potential customers in the bridge market. There's the asset owners, which are the state DOTs. And then there's the bridge inspection companies that do most of the subcontract work to actually do the inspection work. So we've done a bottom-down, tops-up type of approach. We've spent 6 months in the market offering free services, working side by side with inspection companies to get the technology validated, but also to get them to understand the value proposition and us understand the value proposition of the technology. They introduced us to the state DOTs and said this is a technology you should look at as a part of the work scope and as a part of the inspection process.
And have you quantified the potential ROI for the municipality versus the contact, the non-contact versus contact sensors?
Well, they are doing some of that for us. They're giving us, they say, hey, we can make so much more money because we don't have to do the way we're doing non-destructive testing today. But in reality, the savings is that budgets are limited at the state.
Right.
So what they're looking is ways to do their preservation practices on bridges. So they're going to use their technology to screen the bridges that they really need to focus their time on from a standpoint of trouble that they need to work on. That way, their work scopes will be very detailed about what needs to be done, and they can do fewer bridges than they have done before because we can already show them how the condition is before they go out. That's where they think the savings is going to be. For the bridge inspectors, they're just going to save money because they don't have these people climbing off ropes, setting off bucket trucks, closing the bridge off with traffic, things like that.
Do you have to get a law change or regulation change for a state DOT department to accept this?
Great question. It's validated at 2 levels. The state has to validate it as either an experimental technology or an add-on technology to an existing thing that's being done. The Fed level likes to also validate technology, but they take their lead from the state. So we've used Kentucky as our lead because our founder is from University of Louisville, and that's where the technology came out of. So we're using the state of Kentucky and all of the large inspection companies in that area to get it through the experimental phase as well as validated at the state of Kentucky. We did join the Midwest Bridge Preservation Partnership, which is 16 states. We attended the conference. We had a great conference. We were the only real technology there. Everybody else was sealants, concrete, things like that. So we got great visibility to the other states. And we think once Kentucky says yes, the rest of the states will follow.
How scary is that video of the Brent Spence Bridge?
Excuse me?
How scary is that video of the Brent Spence Bridge?
Well, the video...
Cincinnati to northern Kentucky.
It's pretty scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, our founder will be out next week. They're commissioning a new bridge because of the one that did fail. And we'll be out looking at cables and side by side with the way they're currently doing commissioning cables on a new bridge. So we're excited.
Scared the crap out of me.
Well, just the video you saw of what happens with the bridge. When you show that for the first time to the inspectors who generally get a point inspection, you get one thing at a time. They're like, oh my God, what are we going to do with this? We got this data. we have to act on it.
Now we have to spend
We have-
billions on bridges.
Yeah, we have to act on it, we have to do something with it. So they're kind of like, hold back on this, so you can have whatever piece of it you want.
All right, thank you, Bob. Thank you, judges.